Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. I want to start off today's video by stating for the record that I really do enjoy playing World of Warships, and I really enjoy playing the operations in World of Warships as well. But sometimes the players that you get saddled with can make it all just a little bit of a struggle, and so today's video is a celebration of stupid in World of Warships. We'll get the ball rolling with a fairly minor dose of stupidity. The Auber has 203mm guns, and if it's firing armor piercing, it can one-shot these forts, so of course he's firing high explosive. The Cleveland has 152mm guns, and at these kind of ranges can only damage the forts with high explosive, so naturally he's firing armor piercing. But like I said, merely a minor dose of stupidity. We're going to skip forward to the really good part. The Auber and the New Mexico have something much more impressive up their sleeve. At this point I've done 133,000 damage before dying and managed to sink both of the carriers. There are 4 of us left alive, but we're about to lose the La Galissoniere, which means there are now 3 of us left alive. In order to complete the mission you have to get at least 50% of the surviving ships to the exit circle, and with 3 of us left alive that means 2 of us have to get in there. However, the Graf Spee over there is probably not going to make it, and if he dies that means we only have to get 1 ship into the exit circle, and we've already got our high explosive spamming Auber in there. Still, I'd feel a lot better if this New Mexico could get in there with him as well. The Auber's under fire, he may die, the Graf Spee is probably going to die, and if they both go down the New Mexico has to get in there in order to win the mission. Now there's one secondary that we haven't completed, but we can still do this with 4 stars, and that's pretty good. This New Mexico is taking his time, however. Now, the thing that you need to understand about the New Mexico is that it's not a fast ship. In fact, I think it may very well be the slowest of the Tier 6 battleships, but there's something else that you need to understand about the New Mexico. It might be slow, but it's substantially slower when it's sailing backwards. Look at him. We've got 30 seconds before this mission times out, and this window licker is reversing into the cap circle. At this point, if I'd been that Graf Spee, while our backwards sailing, high explosive shooting New Mexico is reversing into the cap circle, I would have turned around and eaten a broadside from one of those enemy ships, in order to ensure that we'd only have 2 ships left alive, and with the Auber inside the cap circle, that's 50%, mission complete. But the Auber has other ideas. With less than 10 seconds to go, the Auber decides that the best thing he can do for the team right now is leave the exit circle. The game times out, the Graf Spee is dead, and the New Mexico still isn't even close. There's a village somewhere that wants its idiots back. I mean, seriously, how do you fuck that up? There are 4 movement controls in World of Warships, W, A, S and D. The New Mexico's made it to Tier 6 and so far has only mastered the S. All the Auber had to do to win was nothing, but even that proved to be too much of an intellectual challenge for him. So that was kind of depressing, but well, that's World of Warships on a weekend. Nothing new there. Our next game actually took place a couple of weeks ago, and at the beginning at least had all the hallmarks of being exactly the same kind of disaster. Operation Ultimate Frontier, one of the new Tier 7 operations. I'm in HMS Hood, premium British Tier 7 battleship. Now, I'm the fastest battleship here. We also have a Duke of York and a Colorado. The Colorado's really slow. The Duke of York can do 28 knots, but, well, the Hood can do 32. So, the reason I'm making a fuss about the relative speeds of the battleships involved here is because it's a good idea for the fastest of the battleships present in this operation to head up north to the area indicated on the map, because an Atlanta is going to spawn up there. And if you don't sink it, you're going to fail, practically before this operation even starts. You see, the way this thing works is you can see these points indicated on the map. Enemy anti-aircraft cruisers are going to appear in those positions, and after a couple of minutes, Allied aircraft are going to start entering the map and heading to the airfield. And if those AA cruisers have not been dealt with, they're going to get slaughtered, and you'll just fail, because it's the primary mission objective, at least at the beginning of the mission. So, I'm heading up north, since I'm the fastest battleship in play. I've had to do this in a Nelson because our Scharnhorsts headed off down to the south to play with the enemy battleships. Yeah. I know. Anyway, while I'm on the way, let's just take a look at the team composition. You'll note that we have 2 players coloured pink on our team. Now this means that they're guilty in previous random or ranked battles of having done friendly fire team damage. You can't do team damage in operations. But let's not judge them too harshly, because anybody can accidentally damage a teammate if they're just, being careless. Well, actually, no, let's judge one of them harshly. Let's judge the aircraft carrier harshly, because that guy, well, let's just take a closer look at what he's doing and you can judge for yourselves. To be fair, I should probably say that this is not a particularly friendly operation for an aircraft carrier. But you can make things substantially easier for yourself if you are playing an aircraft carrier and actually be quite useful to your team, spotting destroyers with your fighters, for example, if you don't charge the enemy destroyers, battleships and cruisers with an aircraft carrier right at the start of the game, because that is only ever going to end one way. So, our carrier just suicided. I guess he didn't like the cornbread. But, trying to look on the bright side, I think the average IQ of the team probably just went up by about 10 points now that he's dead. Let's face facts here, people. Somebody as dumb as that was not going to be much use to the team alive. Anyway, some of the AA cruisers have spawned. The friendly cruisers to the south are taking care of the Cleveland, and this Omaha, it's not really any kind of a threat, providing you don't get within torpedo ranges, and it's basically been put here as a sort of consolation prize for whichever battleship heads up to the northeast to deal with the Atlanta. It's basically wargaming saying, we appreciate the effort that you're taking to come up here and sink the Atlanta and ensure that your team don't fail the mission in the first 3 minutes, but we appreciate that by coming up here, you're basically taking yourself out of the fight for a while, so here you go, farm some free damage. And it's very much appreciated, even though the fort stole my kill, but that's why the fastest battleship on your team should be the one that comes up here to do this, because it minimises the amount of time that you spend getting back into the battle after the Atlanta has been sunk. Speaking of the Atlanta, we're going to give this guy a damn good colonising. Shots out. Gotcha, bitch. Plenty more citadels where that one came from. Right, okay, so we've taken care of all of the AA cruisers, so our aircraft, when they enter the map, they should be nice and safe. Except there is one further cruiser that does pose a substantial threat, and it doesn't enter along the map borders the way the other AA cruisers do. It's down there to the south. It's a Pensacola. And the only player on the team who's really in a position to do anything about it is that pink player in the Algeria, the French Tier 7 cruiser. And sure enough, the Algeria has sunk and recognised the threat and did something about it. And this is why you shouldn't be too quick to judge players whose names appear in pink. Well, aside from the carrier. I hope all of his teeth rot and fall out except for one, so we can give him toothache. But that guy in the Algeria, he was a valuable teammate to have. And valuable teammates were something of a rarity in this mission. Your next objective, once your aircraft squadrons have made it to the safety of the airbase, is to assist them in destroying 2 priority targets. And you can tell which is the priority target by the fact that it's being attacked by aircraft, and also it's got a dirty great big target over the top of it. And yep, sure enough, I'm the only member of the team attacking the priority target. Everybody else is shooting at the Phoenix and the Marblehead. I am the only player shooting at the Omaha. The one that actually needs to die. Of course, I did mention that there are 2 priority targets that get designated, and the second one is another Omaha. It will come as no great surprise to anybody watching the video who's played World of Warships on a weekend to hear that I am pretty much the only one, with the exception of our friend in the Algeria, who's bothering to waste their time shooting at the second priority target. Luckily, I land enough damage on him, as does the Algeria, that the torpedoes dropped by the AI aircraft are enough to finish that guy off. So I'm kind of baffled at this point. I mean, am I the only person on the team who actually wants to win? Why is nobody else bothering to shoot at any of the targets that have been lit up? Well, it turns out that the major reason is because most of the rest of the team are actually huddled up in the repair base over there. And there's an island between them and all of these targets, so they can't actually see them to shoot at them. And that is going to be a bit of a problem, because the next objective is to prevent that repair base from being overrun by an enemy destroyer squadron. And if everybody's hiding behind the island in the repair base, nobody's going to see those destroyers coming until it is far too late. Hands up anybody who was surprised to see that a squadron of 3 destroyers managed to get to within 2 kilometers of 60% of our team before they got spotted. Just, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I mean, I was convinced at this point. I mean, I had a pretty bad feeling right from the start when I saw what our aircraft carrier did. And when our shores got sunk and started blaming our battleships for it, yeah, that didn't give me a warm fuzzy feeling in the pit of my stomach. And when everybody but me was ignoring the priority targets, and now this? Really? You know what? Maybe this team would like me to stick a broom at my arse so I can sweep the deck clean while I'm busy completing all of the objectives for them. Should we do that? Can we try that? Maybe I could do that as well. I seem to be having to do everything else so far. Anyway, repair base secure. So, now what we have to do is ensure that the aerodrome is defended, save at least 2 of the forts on the aerodrome, and if possible, locate and sink the aircraft carrier Raptor. So, how much of that do you think I'm going to have to do without a whole lot of help from the rest of the team? Let's see, shall we? Okay. Well, at the moment, I'm just reversing off the rocks where I had to ground myself in order to not get torpedoed by that destroyer squadron. Okay, New Mexico. Don't really have anything better to shoot at the moment. Oh, we've just lost the Duke of York. Well, yeah, no big surprise there. I'm not quite sure what our Miyoko's doing. He's sitting in the repair circle on full health, not really shooting at anything. Our Colorado, who was shooting up the Marblehead and the Phoenix earlier on when the Omaha was the priority target, he hasn't even made it back from there yet. And he's diverting south to go and play with enemy destroyers in a Colorado, so, you know, good luck with that. Wow, I actually got a Citadel hit on a New Mexico. That was very unexpected. However, that New Mexico isn't actually the big threat at the moment. Those cruisers to the west are. And, well, perhaps I was judging the Miyoko a little too harshly because he has taken out the Marblehead. The Pensacola, however, he needs to die. Remember, one of the other secondary objectives is to ensure that at least 2 of the island forts survive, and we've only got 2 left, and that's what the Marblehead and that Pensacola were going for. But our ever-reliable pink teammate in the Algeria is also aware of this problem, and he's engaging the Pensacola, while taking fire, a considerable risk to himself, from enemy ships to the south. So, I have citadeled the Pensacola and made the job a little easier for him, but let's see if we can take some of the heat away from him, because, well, with any luck, that New Mexico is going to shoot at me rather than the Algeria. Let's see if we can get his attention while the Algeria focuses his fire on the Pensacola. That guy does need to die, otherwise he's going to start shooting up the forts, and we only have 2 left. We can't afford to lose any of them. So I've highlighted the Pensacola and requested that everybody shoot the crap out of him, and the Algeria has done it. Good job for him. And oh look, the Ranger just got spotted. Well, we're going to need to clear this New Mexico out. And yep, well done, Miyoko. Now for the Ranger. Well, I don't want to get torpedoed by the Nicholas and the Mahan. And there's an Alabama over there to the west, and I don't want to get broadsided by him. So I need to straighten out in this course in order to avoid any torpedoes from them, and so that I don't get citadeled by the Alabama. And oh look, friendly torpedoes from the Algeria. No, it's alright, don't worry. You can't take friendly damage in operations. He was just covering his bets in case we failed to deal with the New Mexico. So I've sunk the AA cruisers, I've killed the primary targets, I've defended the repair base from the destroyers, I've been instrumental in protecting the forts, and now the very last thing that I need to do in order to have completed every single secondary objective that this team needed to get a 5-star win is sink the aircraft carrier. Holy shit. You know, they say there's no I in team, and that's true, but there is a me. And while I do have to give a shout out to the pink player in the Algeria who turned out to be an incredibly useful teammate, let's just say that after I finished playing that game I had to go and lie down for a bit because I appear to have injured my back. I never thought we were going to complete that one with 5 stars. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.